Hello and welcome to our highlight show of the XRL Europe Super League. On today's programme, we have extended highlights from the Milan derby, AC Milan versus Inter Milan. We also have highlights from all of the other games in the XRL Europe Super League, including how front-runners AS Roma got on against Bayern Leverkusen, and whether Tottenham could get a second win on the trot when they go to Anfield to take on Liverpool. Now we go to our main game of the day. Our extended highlights come from the San Siro between AC Milan and Inter Milan. Your match commentators are Martin Tyler and Alan Smith.
Well, they're winning by 3 points over their great rivals. Now they can push the lead to 6 with victory today. That really puts some serious distance between the two sides.
Well, yeah, that's a great carrot for them, but there's not been too much to separate the two teams. I think this will be close.
Goalkeeper makes the save, and it's a clean save too. Doesn't drop the ball. Great chance, got to be. Oh, that's great work by the goalkeeper. They've got a corner now.
Nagatomo. And the defender has done very well here, got his foot in. Rodrigo Palacio here.
Well, we might get an update on that injury now from our man Jeff Shreves. Jeff.
50-50 this one. He twisted his knee, he's been trying it out, but...
Admire it, on his toes.
Back out off the bar. Made sure the ball is stuck at his foot.
One.
If he wants support, he's certainly got it in this attack. Oh, penalty, no question.
Decided to use power rather than placement, and he did the job.
So it's Milan with the lead.
Oh, so close, off the bar.
Hernanes. Well, he's played it into the wide area there, played it well. That's going to be a free kick.
That's a brilliant free kick, and it's just what he does so well, and he's got it absolutely right this time.
He's giving the keeper the eyes there, failing to go right, finding the top left.
Made. Nagatomo. Rodrigo Palacio here. El Shaarawy. Nagatomo. Now towards Palacio.
made the save, but the ball's still there.
He's going to cross it.
Knocked it away.
Won the ball cleanly.
Rodrigo Palacio here.
Moreira. Lost his man.
He's got out there quickly and stopped the ball coming in.
That will mean a corner for Inter. And he's in there with a header. Well, that's what he was there to do, just round it all off and knock it in the net.
Jonathan. Nagatomo.
We're still level in this game, and Inter trying to find something that will put them in front. Great chance. So they can... Hernanes. Palacio! They've been relying on the goalkeeper a lot today, and again here late on.
Yeah, really good save. I think the rest of his team thought that the opposition had scored there.
Dangerous moment, in with a chance. Maybe now is the time. It's a corner. Here's a shot.
Well, the goalkeeper can hang on to that.
They could be caught on the back foot.
Referee has chosen to add on 4 minutes.
That's an inspired interception. And a really crucial moment. That might just decide the match. It's with De Jong. They've got the ball back through a very good interception. Well, very, very close. That really could have altered the game. Only just missing, but it's a miss.
It is a miss, but he did everything right. It was a good strike on goal. He hit the target, just couldn't convert.
Yeah. It's a quick break. He's in here. Here's the chance. And that must be the winner.
So that was our extended highlights of the main game in the Inter Milan AC Milan derby, where AC Milan won 2-1 thanks to a late controversial goal from Cornish, resulting in a fearless rage quit. In the box for me tonight is Roma manager I Love Jigsaws. Good evening, good to see you here.
Dan.
Yeah, and well, you've just seen the main game of the evening. What did you make of it?
I thought it was quite actually an interesting game with both teams being quite attacking in parts, especially with AC Milan going for four up front, which is an interesting formation which I'll have to look out for when I play. But as you were saying, it's quite controversial at the end with Cornish just passing it around past the keeper to score into pretty much an empty net.
Yeah, I can remember saying to people after that game, I feel like if it's a bad thing to do, it's really controversial, but I think if anyone was put in that situation where it's the last minute of the game and he had a chance to win,
yeah,
you'd probably do it. I mean, not many people would do it.
If I was in that situation, I'd do it exactly the same. A win is more beneficial than just getting a draw on 1 point, isn't it? It's 2 extra points, and at the beginning of the season, you want to be getting those points up quickly so you can get towards the top and sort of make a sort of a standing ground for where you're going to be at the end of the season.
And Cornish getting back to winning ways after his 5-0 drubbing in the first game against Tottenham. So he's climbing up the table ever so slowly. He's won one of his 2 games. But first half, there was a very contentious penalty decision.
Yeah, and definitely if I was a referee and it wasn't obviously this game being EA Sports, they're quite strange in some of their decisions. That would have been a penalty. It was a heavy challenge, and that could have pretty much scripted the game towards Key's favour in the end.
Exactly. Well, that's our extended game of the evening. Now let's go to our highlights of all of the other games. We have actually got all of the other games this week, unlike the first round of fixtures. So let's start off with our table toppers, AS Roma. So, table toppers, AS Roma at home to Bayer Leverkusen at the Stadio Olimpico. Could Roma make it 2 wins from 2 after their impressive 8-1 win over VfL Wolfsburg It looked to be a tough opposition by Leverkusen, but in the early stages, Destro almost having a good effort on goal. Bayer Leverkusen had a chance of their own, though, in the 28th minute. Kiesling doing a couple of keepy-ups and trying just a dipping shot, and at that awkward height for the goalkeeper, but he palmed it away for a corner. In the 37th minute, though, the deadlock was broken. Niangolan with a fortunate shot, which was saved onto the post and just crept over the line with the spin. It made it 1-0 to Roma and their 9th goal of the league so far. It was soon 2-0 though. Only 3 minutes later, in the 41st minute, Mattia Destro scoring his 4th goal of the season in the second half, and it was still relentless from the Roma, and another goal for Destro, a great through ball chip over to the back post, and Destro coolly heading it in the end to make it 3-0. It was 4-0 in the 78th minute. Gervinho getting in on the act, a first goal for him this season, making it 4. Although it was 4-0, Bayer Leverkusen still were maybe a little bit unfortunate to be 4-0 down and had a few good shots of their own, but in the end it was 4-0 to Roma and they stay top. Our second game comes from Real Sociedad versus Galatasaray. Sociedad getting a draw in their first game, with Galatasaray getting the win against Porto. So into the early stages of the game, and it looked as if Galatasaray were going to be having a strong game here. Yilmaz nearly putting it in after 13 minutes. Then a corner in the 27th minute meant that Adin was going to get the goal. A fortunate series of events there, and he gets an open shot on goal and an easy finish. In the second half, it was still all Galatasaray, and an easy finish for Bruma in the 56th minute meant that they went 2-0 up and pleased their away fans. The Real Sociedad faithful were in shock, but in truth, it's none less than what they deserved, only mustering 4 shots in the entire game. And one of these shots happened in the 83rd minute to give them a glimmer of hope. Granero pouncing on a loose ball and finishing very comfortably. With only 7 minutes to go, there was a possible chance for the home team to nick a draw. The pressure, though, was starting to build for them to get the goal with minutes remaining, just going out of time. And the corner came in, and Felipe Melo with a great header from about 15 yards out, getting over the keeper and into the corner of the goal, and pretty much finishing the game, and that ended 3-1. A big game between two big Premier League clubs. Spurs looking to go 2 wins in a row against Liverpool at Anfield, and early on Paulinho had a great chance inside the first 3 minutes, trying to chip Simon Mignolet in the goal. As the first half continued, however, Liverpool started to get more into the game, across into the box, finding Balotelli cleared by the Tottenham defenders. Came back to Balotelli again, shimming in and out, trying to have a shot, and the keeper, Lloris, made a good save. As the first half wore on, though, Stewart again became the dominant force, having many chances. This, one of them, falling to Adebayor, who skied wide and over from a very good position. You'd expect him to do better. And another chance again near the end of the first half. Soldado looking to chase a not very interesting ball there. Gets it back, finds Adebayor, who just hits it straight at the keeper, and Mignolet making an easy save in the end. In the second half, however, this is where the game started to open up. Sterling on the ball, finding Sturridge, who cuts in, gets past his man, and sends Liverpool fans in cheers and delight. Fantastic goal from Sturridge in the 72nd minute, and a trademark celebration to put Liverpool 1-0 up. However, as the game got into the final few minutes, Spurs were dominating the game and duly deserved the goal. However, what a save that was from Mignolet. And Eriksen now running to take the corner. And it's an outswinger. And in the 88th minute, Yunus Kabul gets up and makes it 1-1. And that is how it stayed. A bit unfortunate for Tottenham, but a good draw nonetheless in the last minute. Now for one of the best games of the day here at Zenit St. Petersburg versus Schalke 04. This is a great game all the way throughout. Very early on though, the pressure was on Schalke, who lost their first game of the league, and Axel Witsel got through a very sloppy defence and made it 1-0 to the home side within the first 3 minutes of the game. Many teams would have folded, however, but straight after the kick-off, Schalke looked on top of their game and tried many attempts. This being one of them, Sam finding Huntelaar, who cuts in. He has an effort on goal, which is well saved, but the clearance falls to Sydney Sam, who has an absolute wonder strike, top corner, and after 5 minutes it had already been 1-1. However, the away team Schalke were not going to be persuaded in their quest for their first league win. Huntelaar trying to find Uchida, who beats his man. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and the keeper makes an awesome save to deny the left-back from scoring his first of the season into the second half now. And Zenit took the lead here with Rondon, who tried to round the keeper, couldn't quite do it, but slided the ball under the goalkeeper nonetheless. In the 70th minute, there was a free kick for Schalke. Sydney Sam once again finding a fantastic strike into the top corner, and it made the game 2-2 after 70 minutes. For the first time in the game, in the 78th minute, Zenit St. Petersburg were behind in this tie. Jefferson Farfan cutting inside and finessing a goal right into the bottom right hand corner. The keeper and the defenders will feel like they could have done a little bit better. But the pressure, was the pressure too much? I think it was when it came into the last few minutes of the game, the 87th minute, where Hulk got goal side of his man and had a one-on-one chance for the keeper, easily slotting it in, and that is how it remained here at Zenit St. Petersburg. 3-3 and a great game. Our next game comes between FC Porto and VfL Wolfsburg, two losers in their first round fixtures, Wolfsburg in particular losing 8-1 at home. But it was Wolfsburg who had the stronger chance. Perisic making a good run down the right, making a good cross into the middle for Ivica Olic, who managed a great header, but the keeper tipping over the bar. From the resulting corner that Rodriguez crossed in, it was Naldo, the Brazilian centre-back, netting his first goal of the season with a fantastic header. Porto being hit badly this season so far by crosses and headers from the opposition, and this has so far proved the point in this game. As the game wore on, Porto became the stronger side. Jackson Martinez now having a great chance, trying to round the keeper but hitting the side netting. Most of the game was had a lot of lag in the game, but Herrera having a great chance but just couldn't get the ball out of his feet. From the resulting clearance, Martinez found a great pass, but that was a dubious penalty call there, and it finished 1-0. Two teams who won their opening fixture in round 1 of the European Super League clashed in round 2, Napoli versus Everton. And it was Everton who had a good chance early on in this game. Lukaku finding a great through ball over to Kevin Mirelas, who controlled well but lashed over the bar from just inside the area. As the first half progressed, in the 18th minute, a poor goal kick from Tim Howard found Higuain in space, who found a chipped through ball through the line, and Michu couldn't quite apply the finish, and eventually it was cleared by Everton. As the half went on, Napoli became the dominant force in this game, but it was Everton who took the lead in the 34th minute with an absolute bullet header from Aidan McGeady. It was against the run of play, that goal, and Napoli after 40 minutes had a great chance with Michu hitting a shot off the bar and in to make it 1-1 at the half time. This was possibly a little bit harsh on Napoli, as they had been the better side throughout the first half. And in the second half, after 54 minutes, Dries Mertens found a great cross for Higuain to header a great header there right into the top right corner of the goal and make it 2-1 and a deserved lead. During the rest of the game, it was very, very close, but Napoli just edging the game. And then in the final minute of the game, Aidan McGeady hits a great shot off the bar and in to get himself a brace and earn Everton an unlikely 2-2 draw. Two Spanish clubs take to the stage for the final game of the second round of the XRL Europe Super League. Sevilla taking on Valencia away from home, and both these teams not managing a win in their opening fixture of the season meant that the pressure was slightly on to try and get that first win for both bosses of the teams. And Valencia, with the home advantage, looked in very, very good order early on. Negredo finding a searching ball over to Rodrigo, who found a searching cross again, and Negredo finishing it off, making it 1-0 inside the first 4 minutes of the game. As the first half progressed, it was even more domination for Valencia. Only after 8 minutes had Valencia snuck a 2-0 lead. Some awful defending there between the defender and the goalkeeper, making it 2-0 to Valencia, and Sevilla was sinking without a trace in this fixture. The first half remained quite even, Valencia maybe nicking it in terms of the actual game, but it was 3-0 inside 52 minutes. This was becoming quite a rout for Valencia, and Sevilla was struggling. In the 55th minute, just a few minutes later after conceding the third goal, a penalty was conceded, a shove in the back in the penalty area, meaning it was a penalty to the home side. Could they finish and put themselves 4-0 up in this fixture, and surely an unassailable lead? They could not. A cheeky chip from the penalty taker, Parejo, did not go in. However, the pressure was still on from the penalty, and Parejo, having a shot on goal, blocked, but got the fortunate luck of the deflection of the defender and scored to make it 4-0. In the 83rd minute, though, Sevilla got a mere consolation. Juan Antonio Reyes, former Arsenal player, got inside his man in the penalty area and finished away. But in the end, an easy result for Valencia, who took a 4-1 win and get their first win of the season. So those were all of the goals from all of the games. Some interesting scorelines there. And we'll start with AS Roma, who beat Bayer Leverkusen 4-0. You're obviously the manager of AS Roma. Was it as easy as the scoreline suggested?
No, because to start with, I was very tense as I played Roberts in a few sort of friendlies just to mess around and get used to the team, obviously. And it's been quite close where we've had 2 draws and I've beat him once, and it's been like 1-0 in that game. So I wasn't expecting a result that big, but when it came down to the actual fixture, I played quite well. And I think Roberts played well in the end, but I could contain him and just managed to stop him getting enough shots on target. I think he only really had 1 in the game, which is quite surprising, man. I'd say he's quite a good player, and he'll be looking sort of top 5, top 6 maybe come the end.
Yeah, a lack of shots from his end was probably the main reason. Just couldn't work any chances. But off to our second game, which was at Anfield, Liverpool and Tottenham. The score was 1-1 in that game. About fair, I think. I think Stuart, the Tottenham manager, may be a little bit unhappy. He had a good few chances towards the end of the first half, but he's not got his perfect 2-win start that he would have liked.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked by this result, as I was expecting Stuart to come out on top, obviously having beat Cornish 5-0 the other day. But it's just one of them, isn't it? When you come to teams like this, it's about taking your chances, and Stuart had a lot, yet he couldn't finish. From like the 35th to the 45th minute, he had a good 4 or 5 chances, and he just couldn't score.
Porto was the big shock of the day, I think. Losing to Wolfsburg, who in turn lost 8-1 to Roma last week. So they turned it around, and that was a bit of a shock for Porto.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest shock. That's probably the biggest shock I can see out of all these fixtures. In the end, obviously, I play against because of beating them 8-1, and it goes to affect like anyone can probably actually beat anyone in this division if on their day, because Killer's obviously done something really good. Because Jambo is probably a player I'd say will be up there come the end of the season, and he's struggling in these first 2 games, but I expect to see him turn it around over the next few fixtures, and I don't actually look forward to playing him, as I reckon he'll probably beat me, because he's a very strong player. Whenever we play, he seems to get the better end of the stick against me.
Well, when I seemed to watch that game, when I did the edit, Porto did, as they struggled against Galatasaray, just seemed to struggle with crosses in the air a lot of goals conceded from crosses and headers, and they seem to be losing out quite a lot at the back. So maybe a way to exploit them. I'm just giving you 3 tips already. Uh, Napoli and Everton was our next game. 2-2 in that game. So what way do you see that? A good away point earned for Everton, or the other way around?
I think that's probably a good result for both of them, as I expect probably both teams to be high up in the end. Obviously, it was Napoli winning last week and Everton. I think those two will be close towards the top come the end of the season. Obviously, they'll have a few fixtures where they start to win up games and rack up those points, and it's just about seeing who they can beat and whether they can beat the people around them. And I think those two will be right near each other come the end. So it's a good result for both of them.
And Galatasaray, the only other team who have won both their games so far. I wouldn't have said this at the start of the season, but they've won both. They won 3-1 away from home at Real Sociedad.
Again, I think that's a result I expected, having seen the result that happened between Real Sociedad last week, where Jay Pearce played against Sociedad, and that was a draw, which is probably a fair result in the end. And Galatasaray has been dominant. Played very well last game, and Ewan's going to be one as well. He's going to be up near the top. There's a few players who, just as soon as they spring some results together, they'll be right up there. And Ewan and myself start off well, so once we start to slip, others will catch up very easily in this.
It's very early days as well, so anything can happen. Our penultimate games in St. Petersburg and Schalke. This proved to be one of the best games of the week, I think. So many chances and a couple of really great goals.
Yeah, yourself, you had 2 great goals. The first one was probably, I'd say it's probably the pick of the bunch. I watched the game the whole way through because it was really entertaining, and to see it basically 1-1 after like 5 minutes is just a really great thing. Obviously, it was a good first goal for Senna with Witsal, where he just took it around your players. That was brilliant. And then even your Farfan goal, that was good as well. It was entertaining and end-to-end stuff. So you two could definitely be up there come the end.
That was so nervy as well, playing that game. We were like concentrating so hard, and it was just going one way to the other. I think either of us, when we were both losing, felt like we could get back into it.
Yeah,
it was quite a close game.
I've had that problem when I play Bobbit, so I was really tense to start with. It's just about getting a goal and relaxing, then it's just hopefully plain sailing through the rest of the game.
And finally, Valencia winning 4-1 against Sevilla. Not a great start for Sevilla, only picking up 1 point so far from their first 2 games. What do you make of Chris's start of the season?
It's not where I expected him to be. I expected him to be sort of more mid-table, maybe have had a win and a draw or a win and a loss. But he is a good player and he'll bring it back. And Living Dead obviously lost his first game, bounced back in his win. It's now put him straight back up into the top 5. So results aren't going to make much of a difference in these early weeks, to be honest. And Chris
definitely
will be
not.
Up there
It
as
will.
well come the end. There's a lot of good players in the division, and it's equal quite all over the whole table. So it'll be interesting to see over when we get to like week 9 or week 10. Then it will be who's near the top and who's going to be near the bottom.
So let's have a look at the league table after the first 2 rounds. We've got AS Roma in first place with a plus 11 goal difference, only conceding 1 so far this season. Galatasaray, the only other team to win both their league games, in second. Tottenham Hotspur, Zenit St. Petersburg, Everton and Napoli all winning and drawing their first 2 games and remaining unbeaten. Valencia in 7th, with AC Milan getting that fortunate win against Inter in 8th place. VfL Wolfsburg getting that shock victory in 9th. Inter Milan 10th, with Schalke in 11th, climbing up 4 places. Liverpool and Real Sociedad just above the relegation zone, with Sevilla, Bayer Leverkusen the only other teams to have got any points this season, with Porto bottom of the league without a win or a draw so far this season. My thanks to Jack, I Love Jigsaws, for giving some insightful analysis, and we'll hope to see you next time for round 3 of the XRL European Super League.